Templar warriors. Today is a good day for Persian bread. That's what I had for lunch and dinner. However, unfortunately at dinner, I ate the rest of the bread, such a large quantity in such a short period of time that I got a little sick to my stomach. So don't recommend that. I do recommend the bread, but I also recommend some level of self-control would be good. So, today is the Cryptids, the long-awaited Cryptid stream, which we will get into in a moment. First, let's review the schedule. Mondays are gaming. Tuesdays are ASMR streams. Yesterday we read some of the Epic of Gilgamesh. Wednesday's a class with Dr. Export. This week it is Cryptids, of course. Next week might be coffee, perhaps. And then we'll vote at the end of class, of course. Thursdays are gaming. This week's special gaming day. It will be multiplayer Minecraft with Export. Check out the page on Discord for the details. And Friday, Nikke guest host streams. It had been between Crown and Trony back and forth for a while. Now Crown is pulling into the lead. And if you want to change the tide, you'll have to vote rapidly with your friends to beat the king. Before we get started, wondering if you've heard the breaking news about the Nikke subreddits. So, breaking news. The r/Nikke Mobile, the primary Nikke subreddit, appears to have been hit with the NSFW hammer by the Reddit master moderators. You can see when you scroll through. This means all new posts are auto-tagged NSFW and the GIFs and images can't be posted in comments, i.e. no Doro GIFs. Reports are the subreddit mods are cracking down on thorny posting in an attempt to restore safe for work status. Seems a little ridiculous to try to do that in a game that's largely about butts. Thanks to Blacklight for the news tip, by the way. So you can see scrolling through here, it's all labeled NSFW and we don't know what really is or isn't. We're not going to find out right now because I don't want my stream taken down. And yes, Outpost seems to be the same, Blue Tut. 4chan. Yes, 1F. So, yes, going to close that and we'll get started on class. Alright. So, I included, as promised, I included some from each continent. However, Antarctica, I found one, but there were no images of it, and you'll see, I think. You'll understand. But first off, what is a cryptid? An animal, such as Sasquatch or the Loch Ness Monster, that has been claimed to exist but never proven to exist. And it's a bit difficult. Some people disagree about what's a cryptid, what's a mythical creature, what's a legend. There's some disagreement about labels. I did the best I could to stick to purely cryptids and no mythological creatures, etc. I did the best I could. I'm not an expert, nor am I a cryptozoologist, which is a person who explores the existence of cryptids. So some refer to it as a pseudoscience, but I assume it's based in real science. They're just looking for something that's probably not real. But sometimes they have been vindicated and they've turned out to be real. Alright, so starting with North America. North America, first one here, the Loveland Frog, also known as the Loveland Frogman. So, as you can see, this is a frog-like humanoid frog type, or a frog-like human. It inhabits the area around the Little Miami River near Loveland, Ohio. So, as with many of these cryptids, the descriptions vary, but they say typically it's about 3 to 4 feet tall, with leathery skin and the face of a frog or a lizard. This one kind of gives a little bit of Creature from the Black Lagoon vibes, this image here. Supposedly the first sighting was in 1955. A traveling businessman claimed to see 3 frog-like creatures on the side of the road One reportedly held a wand that emitted sparks. Another sighting in 1972 by a police officer. And a second police officer later on, although a second recanted his story. And so yes, that's the Loveland frog. The legend persists. It's part of local folklore. I believe there's even there's quite a bit in the area, the Loveland, Ohio area. There's like a Frogman festival and things like that. Sleepy, no, I would advise against kissing any of these cryptids. They're mostly malevolent. Moving on. Now, you might think this is the Loch Ness Monster, but you'd be wrong. They're actually Loch Ness Monster-like cryptids in several areas of the world. This is a North American version. This is called the Ogopogo. It's one of North America's most famous aquatic cryptids. It is said to inhabit the Okanagan Lake in British Columbia, Canada. So it's usually depicted as very similar to the Loch Ness Monster, a long serpentine lake monster, plesiosaur-like, just like the Loch Ness Monster. Native legends of the Okanagan people, dating back centuries, speak of a powerful water spirit or lake demon known as the Naha-Itik, which may be the origins of the legend. But sightings of it date back to the 19th century and continue to this day, just like with the Loch Ness Monster. Everybody's seeing it from time to time. Here's another depiction. I think I had one more. I like this one. So very similar to the Loch Ness Monster. As mentioned, there were the indigenous legends about it, and the first non-indigenous that was recorded was in 1872. Yes, there's photographs and there's videos very similar to the Loch Ness Monster overall. And cryptozoologists continue to investigate the creature. Personally, I say it's the same as the Loch Ness Monster. It's a plesiosaur. It's gone now, probably, but it was a plesiosaur that somehow survived to modern-ish day. Loch Ness Monster, other ones as well. Now, who knows who this is? Anybody recognize this fellow? Oh, nice to see you, Matryoshka. Matryoshka. I'm sorry I'm terrible at saying that. I need to practice in my off time. Anyway, so a man wearing black. I don't believe you, Laurinator. I don't think that's what you think. So yes, it is a large, hair-covered, man-like animal known as Bigfoot or Sasquatch and other names as well. And they're all over the United States, but in particular the Pacific Northwest, where stories of an ape creature roaming the forests of North America. These legends have been a part of the Native American tribe. Excuse me. And there were cave paintings of Sasquatches. The earliest written account was in 1811 by David Thompson, who was mapping regions of Canada and the United States at the time, and he spoke to the Spokanes, a local Native American tribe in Washington. And according to him, they told him of a race of hairy giants that lived on some of the nearby mountains, perhaps Mount St. Helens, and it would steal salmon and people while they were asleep. This was also the first time a footprint was mentioned. It's said to be giant 1.5 foot long footprints. I like this one. It's very cute. I think this is more what he looks like. He's just chilling out of view, protecting the forest. I like to imagine that that Bigfoot is just protecting the forest and the animals. Although I think he should do more about what's going on. He should probably start, really fighting the fight a bit more. Oh, okay. Next is the Mothman. Anyone heard of this one? I think I've vaguely heard of it before. So the origins are in West Virginia, United States. And it's this horrifying winged humanoid. It's claimed to be 7 to 15 feet tall and flies over 100 miles per hour. So, very fast. Faster, it's supposed to... supposedly this speed was clocked based on its pursuit of a car, I believe. So, it's one of the most famous flying cryptids in North American folklore. First sighted in West Virginia, 1966. Yes, Blue Tut. Referenced in Fallout. No, yes, it's a moth. Don't worry, out of context, it's a moth, not a crow. Many believe that Mothman, excuse me, is an omen, with his appearance foreshadowing disasters. And the most famous incident linked to Mothman was the collapse of the Silver Bridge. That's disturbing. And supposedly the first major sightings of Mothman were reported by two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Stephen Mary Mallet, who claimed to have seen the creature while driving near an abandoned World War II TNT plant. Well, I guess that makes sense, doesn't it? A plant. Makes sense. Here's another one. It's a statue of the Mothman in New Haven, West Virginia. He almost looks like a Marvel superhero. If you just imagine under this is a helmet and underneath is a normal face. That's disgusting, redacted. That's horrifying. Gross. Alright. Next, this is quite a disturbing photo. Oh, and I hadn't noticed the person down there. Even worse. So, the Wendigo are known by different spellings, all very similar, though. The Wendigo, the Wendago, the Witico, the Witigo, the Witico, the Wendigo. So, all very similar. It's a cannibalistic spirit resembling a zombie. It's sometimes depicted as the size of a human, sometimes even taller, 15 feet tall. It's supposed to have a similar appearance to an animated corpse. Skeleton-like, thin body with grey skin, sunken eyes, bloody lips, yellow fangs, and a long, slimy tongue. And, later myths say that the Wendigo is a lipless ape with giant fangs. So there's, as with almost all of them, there's disagreements. It can turn a person into a Wendigo, which was one of the worst curses to the Algonquian-speaking Native Americans of Canada. I think I had another one. Yes, so obviously, most of these, there's quite a bit of disagreement about what these look like. So I tried to include a few varieties. But if whatever I bring up isn't what you expected, that's just because there's different beliefs. Yes, Braven, it's the monster from Until Dawn. Oh, thank you, 1F. Wow, harsh. But true, I've always thought I look a bit like an alien when I first wake up in the morning because my eyes look particularly beady and small. Now, I like this one. This one's lovely. This is the Thunderbird. Anyone heard of this one? Now, I've heard of the Thunderbird because of Harry Potter. Well, because of J.K. Rowling. Because for Rias, she had her Pottermore site. And she included all of this stuff about visiting schools around the world. So not just Hogwarts, but others. And the one in the United States... They had different houses, but each school was slightly different. It wasn't exactly the same like Hogwarts. So in the United States one of the houses was the Thunderbirds. Anyway. And they included the Thunderbird in those god-awful movies, the Fantastic Beasts series, which should never have been made and was garbage. But it was included. And by the way, I see those impressions there. I will save those for the end of stream. So anyway, I do like the images though. They make lovely art. So this is from Native American folklore, throughout, Alaska to Central America. Some stories told that these birds were so large and powerful that when they flapped their wings, thunder was created, lightning flashed out of their eyes, and water fell off their backs, creating rain. So you can see that. So possibly an explanation for some natural, events. It's It lives anywhere from northern Canada and Alaska down to Central America. And some tales tell of enormous eagles strong enough to carry whales back to their nests. Their nests must be huge. Since pioneers began moving west across the North American plains, sightings of large birds have been reported, and similar stories appear in civilizations around the world. So who knows, maybe another, ancient species. Here's another one. Did I get 3? Oh god, no, that's a different one. I really liked the Thunderbird art. I'd get a poster of that. Here's a lovely one. La Lechusa. Yes, Matryoshka, they must be the entire mountaintop. Let's see. La Lechusa, a large owl-like creature from Mexican and Latin American folklore. So it's often described as a giant bird with the face of a woman, or a shape-shifting witch who takes the form of a massive bird at night. Look at how sad this child is. Legends of La Lechusa involve terrifying nighttime encounters, with the creature either flying silently through the air, or perched in trees watching people. In some stories, it's vengeful, attacking those who have wronged it, or bringing misfortune to those it encounters. And look there, it's got a very unfortunate... This one I really hated, but I felt that you all should have to see it. Look at that face. It will haunt us. Moving on, this isn't much better to look at. I don't know how to pronounce this one. Someone might have to help me, because it's Portuguese. So it's the Minhocao. So it's M-I-N... H-O-C-A with a squiggle over it. O. How do you pronounce that? Anyone know? What does the A with the squiggle over it mean? Minhocao? I don't know. But it's a Brazilian Portuguese word meaning big earthworm. As usual, there's disagreement, but generally they believe there's black, scaly skin. This one's obviously not black. An obvious snout or mouth. And 2 tentacles on the head. The tentacles are what I find to be very strange in the description. It lives underground in the forest, the Amazon rainforest. Yes, I'll type it. But I don't know how to type the A. So it's... Wait. Minhocao. But the A has that squiggle over it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so lives in the Amazon rainforest, underground, and possibly feeds on animals like cattle, according to the legends. Did I have a second one? Yes, here's the second one. With the tentacle type things. It's hideous. Oh, interesting, the Alaskan bullworm. Sorry, getting some water. Hideous. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, before I move on, there was another one that I couldn't find a picture of this one. So, this next one that I'm speaking of, I didn't have a picture for it, but I still wanted to include it. So, the Lake Titicaca monster. No giggling, please. So, local indigenous tribes believe it's a guardian spirit of the lake, tasked with protecting the sacred waters and the surrounding lands. Some legends suggest it's remnant of an ancient prehistoric creature that survived for millennia, hiding in the depths of the lake. So again, very similar to the Loch Ness Monster or Ogopogo. The creature's presence is tied to mysterious disappearances and unsettling occurrences, especially near the Isla del Sol. Sorry, how to speak Spanish with a British accent. Which is an island of great spiritual significance. It's also believed to appear when the balance of nature or the sanctity of the lake is disturbed, and it will target those who enter its territory or attempt to exploit the lake's resources, especially those who engage in activities disrespecting local traditions. And some even claim the creature was created as a punishment for those who defied ancient laws or who engaged in cannibalism. So I couldn't find a picture, but I wanted to include it because I like the whole guardian aspect. So then here, you correctly guessed what this is. Thanks for following on Twitch, Shadowhog. So El Chupacabra, meaning goat sucker, in Spanish. It's first reported in Puerto Rico. It says mid-1990s, but I'm sure it was discussed much earlier than that. That's probably just the first recorded. And, what? Yes, interesting. Coo. I'm gonna have to Google that too. I'm gonna have to Google, like, have someone say that for me. A nasal coo. Interesting. It is said to be a creature that attacks livestock, particularly goats, obviously, from the name, draining their blood through small puncture wounds. As usual, descriptions vary. It's depicted as having spines running down its back, and sometimes also as standing on two legs and having glowing red eyes. Sometimes it's depicted as being reptilian or alien-like, others more canine or coyote-like. The legend spread rapidly through rural communities in Puerto Rico and later to Mexico, Central America, and the southern United States. And farmers and ranchers reported finding dead animals with inexplicable bite marks, fueling fears and interest in the mysterious creature. And apparently the name Chupacabra was coined shortly after the first sightings, when the media picked up the story. All right. Let's see this next one. Oh, yes, this one was quite interesting. Yeah, Laurinator, I think that's more likely. Probably just a wild dog. This is called a Lemish, supposedly, which is strange because, well, it's from Argentina, and that word doesn't seem very much like Spanish, but whatever. The Lemish, also known as the Patagonian water tiger. Yes, an otter. It's supposed to be otter-like. Said to inhabit the remote regions of Patagonia, Argentina. Described as a large, otter-like creature with sharp claws and a powerful muscular body. It's known to frequent rivers, lakes, and marshes, where it supposedly drags livestock and even humans into the water. It's believed to be an aquatic creature, but it spends a significant amount of time on land, making it a hybrid cryptid. Had another one here. I believe this is also the... I think this is also the Lemish. Let's see. Early Patagonian indigenous tribes spoke of the creature as a dangerous predator. It had the ability to move silently and swiftly through water. And it was brought to Western attention by an explorer in the 19th century, after local inhabitants spoke of the creature. Cryptozoologists have speculated that the Lemish might be a misidentified surviving species of prehistoric animal, perhaps a giant otter or another large aquatic animal that has yet to be discovered. We'll see. We will see, won't we? Oh, this wasn't... Wait. Was this another one? That one's a bit more fearsome, isn't it? Oh, this one might be the bunyip. They look similar. I'm a little confused. Moving on to Australia. So we've discussed North America, South America. Now this is Australia. This is the bunyip. It's a creature from Aboriginal mythology in southeastern Australia. Said to live in swamps, billabongs, creeks, riverbeds, and waterholes. The word translates to devil or evil spirit in the Wemba Wemba language. It's described as a water-dwelling beast with a wide range of forms, including a large seal-like body and sharp claws. Said to live in water, and it appears on land to terrorize animals and people. And has been part of Australian folklore for centuries. And then, of course, when Europeans came, they were like, I totally saw a bunyip, yes. Here's another one, even more fearsome. What would you name him? Or her? I don't know what this thing is. Alright, moving on. This is the Yowie. The Yowie is Australia's version... Well, this is a little offensive to call it Australia's version of Bigfoot, because that makes it sound like the origin is Bigfoot. But it's their own tale. So, it's an Australian cryptid similar to Bigfoot, is a better way to say it. Craig. I like it. Craig. Craig and Earl. The Yowie. Said to roam the dense forests and mountain ranges. It's holding a kangaroo, I believe. Particularly... Oh, sorry, my throat. I ate that bread so fast, I'm paying for it. Oh, goodness. Particularly in New South Wales and Queensland, Aboriginal Australians have stories of the Yowie going back millennia, describing it as a tall, hairy creature that could be both friendly and aggressive. So, oh, goodness. And one of the most well-known modern investigators is cryptozoologist Rex Gilroy, who has dedicated decades to studying and searching for the creature. Yes, Aramis, no idea what that automod was about. Yes, friendly sometimes. Yes, it must be massive, because that certainly appears to be a kangaroo. Perhaps it's just a little Joey. That would be upsetting, though. The way I saw it spelled was like this, but I don't know if that's... I don't know if there's really a specific spelling. Alright, moving on to Europe. Now, who has seen this image before? Anybody? This is, of course, my girl. My girl, who I believe in. Girl. I'm having a hard time saying that word. My girl. Nessie, yes. The Loch Ness Monster. One of the most famous cryptids globally. Inhabiting Loch Ness, a large freshwater lake in the Scottish Highlands. It's her. She is depicted as a large, long-necked creature resembling a plesiosaur. That's because she is a plesiosaur. And she was real. Anyone seen the Phineas and Ferb episode with Nessie? It's a good one. Stories of a water-dwelling monster in the area date back centuries, and then the modern interest really began in the 1930s. Godako, I have heard that as well. One of the sources I was looking at did say it is perhaps a giant eel. But wouldn't that have to mean that there's more than one then, right? There would have to be a whole group of giant eels since it's been... if it started in the 1930s. Unless it's a very long-lived giant eel. 1F, I don't want to hear it. You just don't understand. I can't explain it to you if you don't understand. Supposedly the modern legend of Nessie took off after a sighting by George Spicer and his wife in 1933. Here, yes, this is the article that claimed it might be a giant eel. But if it's a giant eel, why is it shaped so oddly right here? Oh, moving on, whoops. Now this one I had not heard of. Yes, thank you, Shadowhog. I agree with you. Shadowhog knows. This is the Beast of Gavoden. I'll write it for you. It's a French word. It had an accent on the E. It was the Beast of Gavaudan terrorized the rural region of Gavaudan in southern France during the 1760s. It was described as a large, wolf-like creature that attacked and killed over 100 people. Despite numerous hunts and reports, its identity remains uncertain, with theories ranging from a large wolf or hyena to an unknown species of predator. Locals, hunters, and soldiers all claim to have seen the beast, and Jean Chastel, a local farmer, is credited with unaliving a creature in 1767 believed to be the beast, but of course, skepticism remains. Gévaudan. Okay. I don't know anything about French, really. Here's another one. I thought this one really captures its essence. Oh, this one is a bit less wolf-like. It has hooves. Ish. So, yes. exactly. Oh, alright. Here's the Owlman. Anyone heard of this? Also called the Cornish Owlman. Obviously, it's an owl-like humanoid. Very creepy. First reported near the village of Mounan, Cornwall in 1976, close to a church. Of course, that makes sense. It's described as having large wings, sharp talons, and glowing eyes. That's essential. It's often compared to Mothman due to the similarities in appearance and timing. So, you know, winged, glowing eyes, all of that. Locals describe the Owlman as being seen perched in trees or flying over the countryside. And the first sighting was reported by June and Vicky Melling, 2 young girls who were vacationing in the area. And of course, there have been additional sightings. Supposedly. You don't like it, Gamma? What's not to like? The creepy tilt of the head? Oops, well this one, what happened there? So, this is of course the what? Anyone? Good poll question, Matryoshka. Let's put that in. Who would win in a fight? Owlman or Mothman? I'm leaning towards Owlman, and personally, because of the talons, but then perhaps Mothman is faster? Faster? You can hear when my real accent comes out. Putting in the poll, Owlman or Mothman, who would win in a fight? My vote is Owlman based on the talons. But then, as I said, Mothman does perhaps have the speed factor. Oh, 1F. Oh, gross. Do you mean that the way I think you mean that? I'm gonna assume that I'm just a pervert and misinterpreted that. Yes, Bean, I think Owlman's got the talons and the beak, and that will make it win. Exactly, that's my thinking as well, Aramis. Owls are fearsome predators. PlayfulOtter, let's say Mothman does not have prep time. Yes, I was afraid that's what you meant at 1F. What's just funny, because there was a book I read as a child that was actually the author of Wicked, Gregory Maguire. I can't remember the name of the book, but it was a different book that he wrote, where a character, yes, she and, you know, something with tentacles. That was part of the plot. And I was like 12 to 14 when I read it. No, not that young. I must have been like 16. And it was disturbing. Isaiah, what's Mothman gonna do? He's gonna fly super fast, and that will somehow win. Sounds like most of us in the chat agree that's the Owlman, but poll, yes, Owlman wins. All right, moving on to the Kraken. So the Kraken has been said to be more than a mile long. And apparently, over time, there's been a variety of descriptions of them. I personally have always assumed that this is what the Kraken is supposed to look like. A giant cephalopod having giant tentacles that would envelop and capsize ships. But apparently, the legends have sometimes said that it's been more like a crab. Oh, yes, that's later. It would envelop and capsize the ships, and then as they sank to their demise, the beast was said to eat those on board, or it just would go ahead and let them drown. Apparently, the Kraken tales date back to 12th century Norway. And with its many arms and bulbous eyes, it's believed, in modern day, it's believed that the Kraken may have been based off of the giant squid, because in recent times we have discovered that the giant squid is in fact real. However, there's disagreement, because the descriptions of the Krakens have not always been like this. Here's another one. So this isn't always how they've been described. In the earliest descriptions, the creatures were more crab-like than octopus-like, and generally possessed traits that are associated with large whales rather than with giant squid. But in the 18th century, Kraken, they the more recent depictions of the Kraken might have been based off as sailors' observations of the giant squid. Some traits of Kraken resemble undersea volcanic activity occurring in the Iceland region, including bubbles of water, sudden dangerous currents, and appearance of new islets. And apparently some legends even said that it was so large that a ship could dock and walk around on the Kraken. Although that just seems like a mistake to me. Alright, moving on to Africa. So this apparently... Oh, wrong one. I put that in the wrong... There. Yes, I liked this one. This is the Dingonek from Kenya. The Dingonek is a cryptid from East African folklore, described as a monstrous, lion-like creature with scales and a tail resembling a scorpion's stinger. So I quite liked this one. Its appearance, I mean. Sightings come from remote... Sorry, I saw that calamari's back on the menu and that made me laugh. Sightings come from remote parts of Kenya, with early accounts painting the creature as a ferocious predator. Some describe it as a prehistoric holdover, possibly related to ancient saber-toothed cats or other large predators. And apparently the explorer John Alfred Jordan claimed to encounter the Dingonek near Lake Victoria in 1907, and he gave some vivid descriptions. I quite liked the images of it that I found. That's why I included several. Look at this. It's like a lion reptile. I thought it was quite cool. And you see they typically have these saber tooths in the depiction. This one looks like an armadillo, so quite interesting. So these are all different but similar. Otter I have not. I do not have that on my list. It was difficult to... I always run out of time. This is the Mokele Mbembe, a dinosaur-like creature that lives in the Congo River Basin. It's interesting that many cryptids take the form or as described as looking like dinosaurs. It really makes you wonder if some of the origins, like how did that happen? Was it based on bones that were found and that's what gave rise? Or maybe were there some dinosaurs that we hadn't had time to discover? Who knows? I like to imagine that's it. Often described as a large, long-necked reptile resembling a sauropod. The creature has been part of local folklore for centuries, with tales passed down about its aggressive nature and ability to overturn canoes. And apparently, in modern times, there was a searcher, Dr. Roy McCall, a University of Chicago biologist who led expeditions in the 1980s. I'm always a little embarrassed by the people that in modern day went looking for these. I'm not saying it's impossible that they exist, but you'd think we'd already have found it. But to be fair, we did find the giant squid, so maybe I'm being closed-minded. It's just hard to believe we wouldn't have found something that's on land. Here's another one. It's got this strange elephant trunk. Oh, dang it. I don't have... Oh, that's right. This one. This one. Okay, this is the Nandi bear, or chemosit, reported from the highlands of West Kenya in East Africa. That's true, Jack Tricks. Maybe they're terribly intelligent. They're usually described as a shaggy, slope-backed predator reminiscent of a hyena. And widely regarded, however, it's widely regarded as a composite hybrid, a composite cryptid, created by the lumping together of reports describing distinct animals, both known species and cryptids. Excuse me. And some of the cryptids united under the name Nandi bear include the aforementioned chemosit, the baboon-like Kadolo, and the Shivuvere. Other names applied to it include Mubende beast, Yangao, and several variations of the name giant forest hyena. Yes, it does look like a jacked hyena, Isaiah. Alright. This one I found quite interesting. This is another one I liked. The Orang Pendek from Indonesia, Sumatra. So this is the orang. It just looks like an orangutan, I realize. except with human blonde hair. But this is the orang pendek, which means short person in Indonesian. It's a cryptid said to inhabit the remote forests of Sumatra, particularly in the Kerinci region. It's a small bipedal ape-like creature, typically 3 to 5 foot tall. It's smaller than the Bigfoot or Yeti, and reportedly has human-like facial features, along with thick fur covering its body. I wouldn't say this one's very human-like in its face. Local folklore about the creature dates back centuries, and the orang pendek is believed by some to be an undiscovered species of primate or a remnant population of early hominins similar to Homo floresiensis. The hobbit creature discovered on the island of Flores. Was anyone remember when that was discovered? I remember when that was discovered. And I was thrilled. The Homo floresiensis, the hobbit. It's nicknamed the Hobbit because it was quite a small hominin. So, yes. So that would be pretty cool. Let's see. One notable figure who claimed to have seen the orang pendek is British researcher Debbie Martyr, who spent over a decade in Sumatra investigating sightings. Yes, it was like 2002, Gadako. She reported multiple sightings of the cryptid and collected eyewitness accounts from locals and other explorers. And it's considered to be one of the most scientifically plausible cryptids, with ongoing expeditions and research. So it very well may find the orang pendek. The next one, I saw it. Yes, wouldn't that be cool, Redacted? So here's a... Whoa, what the heck? Again, this just looks like an orangutan. I don't think these are very good depictions. Okay, this one is very creepy. When I was researching, it was listed under Antarctica, but it's apparently a Japanese legend based off of what they viewed near the waters of Antarctica. Does that make sense? So the Ningen, a modern cryptid said to live in the waters near Antarctica, but occasionally sighted on land. Very creepy. Gamma. Yes. Redacted, that's right. Described as a giant humanoid figure with pale skin, reportedly can reach up to 30 meters or 100 feet in length. Its name means human in Japanese, and it has been sighted mainly by crew members on Japanese whaling ships. And considered a relatively new cryptid. You know, that does look like a beluga whale. That's a very good point. Do belugas live in those same waters? Oh, it's Ningen. Thank you, Redacted. Yes, it means human, yes. I'm sorry, I pronounced it Ningen. Ningen. This one's even worse, isn't it? Gamma, you should absolutely not trust being out on the ocean. So, yes. This is the Ahul, a giant bat-like or pterosaur-like creature said to inhabit the jungles of Java in Indonesia. It gets its name from the loud, distinctive cry it makes, which sounds like Ahoo! The creature is described as having a wingspan of about 10 feet, with large dark eyes, those aren't dark eyes, whatever, and grey fur, often sighted near rivers or flying over forests at night, feeding on a large prey. And cryptozoologist... Oh, it says that we reached our followers goal. Thank you, everyone. And thanks, Rishi, for following on Twitch. Cryptozoologists theorized that it could be a species of giant bat or an undiscovered flying predator. And in the 1920s, a Dutch naturalist, Dr. Ernest Bartels, claimed to have heard the creature's call and saw its massive silhouette against the moonlit sky. I think I had a second image. Ah, yes, this one's much better. The last thing you'd see. Yes, Redacted. I only had so much time. So yes, imagine this is... When you're falling asleep tonight, Right before you're just about to fall asleep, I want this image to come to you, and then you jerk awake. Alright, I'm gonna start with... Okay. This is a double one. Sorry, I forgot about... Oh, well, they both have boobs. I'm sorry. I'll have to get off of them. I forgot that the boobs can't be shown. Sorry. We'll skip. Anyway, the Aswang. Aswang is an inherently evil werewolf or vampire-like creature that is the subject of a wide variety of myths and stories. Let's see. So this myth is well known throughout the Philippines, and most regions have an equivalent myth. So there's different types of aswang. It's especially popular in the western Visayan regions such as Capiz, Iloilo, Negros, Bohol, Masbate, Aklan, and Antique. I don't know. So other types are the Manananggal, which was the rarely scary woman. The Tik-Tik, the Busao. So the Manananggal is a woman who is normal by day and by night detaches her torso and sprouts bat wings and eats unborn fetuses. The Tik-Tik or Wak-Wak, giant humanoid crows who belong to witches. Oh, sorry, out of context. To stop them, one must remove the black bird that is inside of their stomachs. The Busao resembles a human in appearance and behavior. They are corpse thieves / grave robbers. Dwells in cemeteries. Sometimes steals fresh corpses from funerals or tragic accidents like car crashes. And their weakness is salt. And the Bubu are swung with bloodshot eyes that makes the sound of a laying hen at night. Obviously, this is not it. They were too graphic. I didn't think about that when I was gathering my images. And it's also... I included that because the Manananggal, that version of the aswang, is very similar to also the Krasue, which are from Southeast Asian folklore. So it's very similar. Where it's demonic witches who crave fresh, raw flesh and blood. And they have that thing where, so it says, the head of a young and beautiful woman that floats at night with her internal organs hanging below her. She's a vicious creature driven by extreme hunger and thirst, active throughout the night until she must return to her body by daylight. So the only way to beat her is to destroy her body, I believe, but you have to go find her body. It's very disturbing. Then this one... The Kawahime, which means river princess. Also called the Kawa Onago or Kawa Joro. Joro, I don't know. Anyway, so they live along riverbanks and near bridges and watermills. And they seek out young men. The Kawahime live underneath bridges and watermills in western Honshu, Kyushu, and Shikoku. They look like beautiful human women. However, they also sometimes are said to look like Kappa. So some look like beautiful women, some look like Kappa women. They spend most of their time in the water, lurking underwater in the shade of structures like bridges, and wait for young men to venture close to the water. They then leap out and land on a bridge or a riverbank. And when the man approaches, she emerges, bewitches him, and makes him fall in love with her. At which point she is then free to drain him of his life force. And in areas where Kawahime are known to appear, elderly villagers warn young men to stay clear of strange women by rivers. And when a Kawahime is nearby, the young men should keep their gaze pointed towards the ground, hold their breath, and walk away as quickly as possible. So, hold on, step time. So then the last one I don't have an image of. I couldn't find one. So it's the Antarctic Yeti. So it's basically an Antarctic version of the Bigfoot or the Yowie. So though Antarctica has no native population, rumors have circulated among explorers of a land-dwelling humanoid figure resembling the Yeti or Bigfoot. It's dubbed the Antarctic Yeti, described as a large, shaggy creature adapted to the harsh, icy conditions of the southernmost continent. Sightings are rare and often dismissed as misidentifications of snow or ice formations. But various anonymous explorers and research crews from scientific expeditions of the 20th century have reported seeing strange humanoid figures moving on the ice. None have been substantiated. No, redacted, you're thinking of the regular Yeti. So yes, the Yeti lives in the Himalayas. This is the Antarctic version, basically. It's called the Antarctic Yeti because it's similar to a Yeti or a Bigfoot. D, I don't have an image of it because I couldn't find one. Oh, look, I'm doing my neck thing again. So I couldn't find any images of this one. But basically it's just the Antarctic version of a... Oh! Damn it. My microphone... Oh, God. Sorry, my microphone came off. So, it's like an... It could just as easily be called the Antarctic Bigfoot. Or the Antarctic Yowie. So it's interesting that Bigfoot type myth seems to be all over the world. Because there's the Yowie, there's the Yeti, there's Bigfoot, and then there's this Antarctic version. So that's 4 continents, right? That would be Australia, Antarctica, Asia, and Americas. So that's pretty cool. Yes, Gamma, I just got my steps. Thank you very much. So, everyone, what was your favorite cryptid? I quite liked I like the Thunderbird. I like the Lake Titicaca monster because it protects the land. And I liked that lion one, the Dengo... Oh dear, I have to look it up. Oh, I liked the Orang Pendek as well. The Dingo Neck. Dingo Neck. Yes. The Gobi Desert Worm. So not all then out of context. Out of context in that case, your favorite Aswang was the one with the... Well, I won't taunt you. Yes, Tom, it was hard to choose images because when I would Google these, they would... For the most part, they would look very different. Some of them, they were mostly similar, but then some of them were very different. Bluetut, what does that say? Duende is the elf dwarf version of... Oh, okay, oh, yes, I understand. Yes. Chupacabra. A lady in the water. Yes, 1F, she'd give you the time of day, but it would be to manipulate you. You'd have to give her your life force. I feel like this is a joke a comedian would make, though. They'd be like, well, that's called marriage. I felt like that was the obvious punchline there. She makes you fall in love with her and then takes your life force. All right, time for impressions. And let's start saying what topic we want for next week. So we had discussed the one about coffee. The discovery of coffee and its spread throughout the world in different types where it's grown. Exactly, 1F. You get the joke. Badung hiss. Other topics. And while you're so type your suggestions into the chat, and I will do these impressions, and it's time for British export to take her leave. All right. Well, hello. Is that first request? Export, run! The SCP organization is here. Sorry, it's really hard to do them. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Sugar. Body and sweet. I could take down a Wendigo. That was Brave and Wolves. Just crimes. Well, hello. I don't know why I have a hard time doing Crown after I've done British, but let me try. La 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 la. Okay. Chime! We should get some of those cryogenics things. They'd gain us tons of new subjects. Oh, they're cryptids. Yes, I knew that. And what do you mean they're dangerous? It's a good one, Advent Nice. I like that. Cryogenics. All right. History of coffee. Written language. Other... Other suggestions? Let's come up with 2 more, because we'll vote from 4. History of coffee, origins of written language. Wait, what did I... What? I'm an idiot. Hold on, guys. I closed my... There it is. Okay, sorry. Help! Okay. Sorry, I closed something I did not mean to close. Okay. I adore it so much. I've seen all the sea cryptids inside Gluttony. I couldn't bubble them in time. Alright, come. I love coffee. It keeps the kingdom running. You spin me right round. I don't know what that means, Jack Tricks. Am I an idiot? Dolo. Loliloo. Oh, it's an art form. Okay. You mean like tapestry, like tapestries that you hang on the wall? You spin me right round, baby, right. Oh, okay, Jack. I thought it meant something else. Because, like, obviously, I know what a tapestry is, but I thought maybe it meant something else. Alright, so I saw a couple votes for the Talking to Women one. Oh. Coffee, help me lead the kingdom, including the ball pit. That was Trilith 3. Tapestries are actually really interesting, Jack Tricks. I always thought they were just art, but I didn't realize they actually were also for, like, keeping heat in, because, like, castles were so cold. So apparently that was, like, one of their main, like, regions was their creation, was, like, for the retaining the heat, or, like, creating the heat. But then they also made them into beautiful art. Alright, we can vote on just 3, then. I don't know what pioneer science fiction writer means, Con. Can you clarify? Oh, you mean like pioneers of the science fiction genre? Oh, gotcha. Okay. Okay. Sure, we could do history of science fiction. 'Cause, you know, that's where we got a lot of good stuff. Okay, D. D, it's up to the voters. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of cool, right? That the tapestry, they just make it really beautiful, but they also... Yeah, they seal the walls so that the cost... Because apparently the castles are just freaking freezing. Okay. Poll. Do. Wells here. I'm voting for Pioneer... That didn't sound like Wells. That was way off. I can't do the impressions after there. I don't know what it is about the British. It just throws my ears off. Yeah, no, I get you, Con. Jules Verne's, H.G. Wells kind of thing. I totally get what you're saying now. I just, like, I thought it, like, maybe meant something... I thought it was maybe, like, a term that I understand, but yeah, no, pioneers of the genre. I totally get you. It's actually a really interesting topic. Wasn't there, like a moon princess or, like, a really famous story that was, like, one of the oldest? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? One of the oldest, like, science fiction? I do love me some coffee. I wish there was a place that would let me, like, do little samples of coffees grown in different parts of the world. It's really cool because that's with, like, chocolate, too. Did you know chocolate, like... So the coffee beans grown in the different parts of the world have, like, the different flavors, but then, like the fancy chocolates, like, grown in different parts also are different because they have, like, different soil, like, the acidity of the soil. Yeah, that might be what I'm thinking of, Aramis. No, then that's not what I'm thinking of. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. All right, guys. It's split 3 ways. So I guess I could narrow it down to 3, and then any votes on that 4th one can help with the tie. It's something, sir. Zephyr's request. Help, I've been kidnapped. Yeah, Redacted, I've actually read a lot about the history of cacao. It's so cool. If you ever have a chance to take a bean to bar class, that's pretty interesting. But the history of cacao is awesome. Like, it's really cool to read about the ways that they used to prepare, the way they prepared the hot chocolate, the original hot chocolate drink. A 3-way. Yeah, there was one time I embarrassed myself at work because we were watching this training and she said, get in. And the trainer said, okay, get into threesomes. And I giggled. And I was like, oh, now I look like a really immature POS. Okay, so Origins of Written Language 1 on Twitch, but Talk to Women 1 on YouTube. So we're going to do one more tiebreaker. I sold Chime to the SCP organization so we don't get Athenized. Athenized. Yeah, Redacted. Cacao is so cool. It's super fascinating. Like, how did they, like, it's just amazing, too, that they figured out to, like, roast it. Like, how did we figure out how to do what we've done with chocolate? That's, like, I don't know. It's mesmerizing to me. Sorry, Shaquille. History. Oh, wait. Coffee is now back in on the 3-way tie. Okay, so obviously, what was the 4th one? Science fiction's obviously out. Let's do another one with just the 3. So anyone who voted for science fiction can maybe help with that tie. Right, Matryoshka? It's so cool. Aramis, that's like one of my favorite topics. I'm like obsessed with the early civilization and the ancient stuff. It's so cool. Like, I was thinking last night about, like, how did we discover, like, bread? Like, they wanted to eat the grains, but obviously you couldn't just eat grains as they were. So then they're like, okay, we'll grind them up. But they didn't just want to eat powder, so I'm like, they probably figured, like, oh, I guess we'll make a paste with water. And then they, like, cooked it. It's, like, amazing. Yeah, Laurinator, that's what I've wondered. Because I've always wondered, is, like, penicillin, is that how we discovered, like, yeast and cheese and coffee, you know? Yes, Aramis, it's always weird to me because the Aztec Empire seems so very old, but Oxford is older, yeah. It's just so... I love ancient history and pre-colonial history of, you know, places like Aztec Empire and prehistory, paleontology. All right, poll number 2. Hopefully the last poll. Right, Aramis? It's like, saying, yeah, Jack Tricks. I always think, like, how do we figure out that when you combine these things, especially when you go really far back? Yeah, Kadako, that's probably true. Well, it's funny that you say that because that's kind of like the myth around coffee, how he, like, saw the goats eat it and then the goats were, like, super hyped. And he figured out it gives you energy. Like, obviously that's believed to be a myth, but still, it's kind of funny. But Troishka, I would do that all day long. The Inca are super interesting as well. They had some really fascinating, like, political and religious beliefs. You spin me right round, baby, right round. All right. Gonna give it another minute. Or maybe another couple minutes, depending on how things are going. Bean is like, something dripping from the tree. Tastes good. Like, imagine people had to just be willing to just taste stuff, right? Like, the craziest to me, too, is, like, cheese. Like, you literally, like, rotting the food, and they're like, you know what, let's just taste this mold and see how it turns out. I have heard that redacted. One day I was on, I want to say I was on an airplane, maybe. This was ages ago. And, like, it was Ancient Aliens. And so it was, like, showing how Stonehenge was actually a landing pad for an alien ship. I was like, Very interest. Hidako, yeah, have you heard of that cheese where it's made with maggots? And then when they eat the cheese, they just go ahead and eat the maggots with it? Alright, so it looks like coffee won. You know what, for those of you that really do want the woman stream, maybe that's what we'll do this Sunday I get back from my trip. Hidako, I think the maggots are dead at the time. Alright. So Twitch really wanted language, but coffee just barely won thanks to combining with YouTube, because I have to combine the two vote locations. So on Twitch it was language, but then when combined it was coffee. Yeah, sorry Jack Tricks, you and me both. Oh, they are alive, Jack Tricks. I thought they were unalive. Gross. That's even worse. I thought they were at least dead. Alright, last call for impressions. Give us till 10 p.m. Reminder to resubscribe manually on Twitch if you're subscribed to your Amazon Prime account. Acacia. Good luck with your nightmares. Yeah, Aramis. And then, so the actual Maya, not just like, interesting. Tomorrow is the Minecraft multiplayer stream. Yeah, Matryoshka, I heard that. It is illegal. Matryoshka. Dang it. But I did hear that it was illegal, yeah. But they still make it. And if you're joining tomorrow to play, please try to join at 7:55, because, you know, I'll be trying to get the whole multiplayer thing going. And, no bad words in the game chat. So make sure you're not saying bad words in the game chat, okay? And remember to watch the stream. I will be communicating to you that way. And I'm gonna do this sugar request from Advent Ace. Can't wait for the coffee stream. Make sure you all bring plenty of sugar. D, yes, tomorrow... Tomorrow is Zephyr and Dirtfeather, like, getting those in real quick. Okay, tomorrow, yes, tomorrow multiplayer stream. Maybe I'll do the coffee stream in my sugar voice. I don't know. That will impact how quickly I can do it, though, I feel like. I'll do Dirtfeathers first, real quick. This is a Christian Minecraft server. And then, Bakushin, 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 Bakushin! No sleep for you, export. Dirtfeather. Oh, I'm sorry, Redacted. Well, if it goes well, we'll do it again. And we'll carve Congrats Redacted into the mountain. Alright. Congratulations. Everybody congratulate Redacted. Graduating tomorrow. Thanks all for joining. And I will see you tomorrow. Majram. Alright, Zephyr. Also, whoa, that was funky. What y'all gonna... Okay. Also, how do you say also is... Hold on, let me say a few more things as yeah, and really get me into the voice. What's happening to me? I can't turn off the British. Also, no feet talking. Majram.